We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, all social media platforms and around the world on myjoyonline.com. This is Election Brave with me, Carlos Caloni. Election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants and the German Ozone Medical Center offering alternative therapy, dental wellness and beauty. Election headquarters is for an informed electorate. Please stay tuned in. Grateful for your time. Now the Convention People's Party is challenging the controversial statement made by the newly outdoored running mate of the New Patriotic Party, the NPP's Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, against the founder of their party, which has sparked a nationwide reaction. During his official unveiling last night, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh claimed that not even the achievement of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, could match the records of outgoing President Akufo-Addo. My colleague Nana Boachi Yadom was at the unveiling ceremony and came through with the following report.
The atmosphere was electric at the Manhyia Palace, where thousands of enthusiastic party supporters gathered to witness the formal presentation of Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh to the Asantehene. President Akufo-Addo formally introduced the MPP's flag bearer and running mate for the December 7 polls to Otumfuose Tutu II.
Ghana mra ye dia chichire o mai e kire se Ghana ni bia be furo kunya kese no a utumi phone premier no na ubreso a esise pobi no ba be hye wa na emu ebinu ma nya kwa antu na phone mienu ebinu phone ba ko pe I don't know, that's what you want, yeah, pretty. And then answer, and MPP, National Council, Ecoshia, Tiababi, Tiafi, Bawumia, and say, hi.
Some people had the chance to be president once, and others, including myself, also served twice. Bawumia didn't go anywhere to select his running mate, but the Ashanti region, and it is your son, Napo. I have worked with Napo and Bawumia, and I know they can do a good job for the country.
Wow, fear. I fear. Hello, Unana. I got a fourth year friend with Napo. I am receiving Johnny. I'm a Manhyia South. Minister so ever my ben or no and I Mabia a National Council.
After the formal introduction, the Asantehene urged Napo to preserve his characteristic modesty while collaborating closely with Dr. Bawumia.
Me bedi e makasa chen wo dem metunufo nanso ma men kan cheo ma Dr. Bawumia nunu ho so wo yi wo e ma nunu ho so wo yi wo don't let
Bawumia regret his decision on selecting you as his running mate. Go and humble yourself to Bawumia. You are not arrogant, so don't let what people say about you be true.
The
unveiling of Dr. Bawumia's running mate took place at the Kumasi Jubilee Park, where thousands of party supporters gathered. According to Dr. Bawumia, his decision to select Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh is to bring bold solutions to help the nation.
Media, academic, me a banker, and I'm a government more as vice president. Me fisher obia obeba buami with experience from the legislative branch. Now, Obama complementarity. And he
As a banker and economist, I needed someone from the legislative side to complement the ticket. I share the same vision with Napo. He's a problem solver and he can help me transform the country.
Ashanti region, na ebeto Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe, aka Napo.
Dr. Opoku Prempe believes the MPP is the best party to help develop the country. For him, the legacies of President Akufo-Addo are unmatched since independence.
President Akufo-Addo called retirement. But if the case was a free state Ghana from 1957. President Ghana China and Ado Akufo-Addo. Messi free 1957.
Nobody comes close to President Akufo-Addo in terms of achievements, not even your Kwame Nkrumah.
President Minister can say I deal with fear. Yes, I deal with fear. I deal with fear. 85%.
The MPP is beginning its constituency campaign with Dr. Bawumia touring the northern region. For Joy News, Nana Boachi Dankwe Yadom, Kumasi.
Well, I have been joined by Akbar Yusuf Kwemene of the Bawumia campaign team, Elikem Kotoko, Deputy National Youth Organizer of the National Democratic Congress, and the political marketing expert, Professor Kobby Mensah. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time here on Election Brief. Let me start with you, Akbar. You speak for Bawumia's team. What would be your personal assessment of the reception the MPP received in the Ashanti region yesterday?
I would say that the reception was excellent. It met the expectations of the leadership of the New Patriotic Party. The chiefs and people of Ashanti region are so excited that post-Kufuor, another politician from the region is on the presidential ticket of the New Patriotic Party. There's no doubt that Ashanti region is a citadel of the NPP politics in our country, and that since our return to multi-party democracy in 1992, it produced one of the best presidents of this fourth republic in the person of John Agyekum Kufuor. When Akufo-Addo took over the leadership of the party in 2008, Ashanti region has been off the presidential ticket since then because, as we all know, President Akufo-Addo ran with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is from the northern part of our country.
All right.
And so since 2008, we have not had an Ashanti on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. So when Dr. Bawumia was elected in November last year, he was under obligation to select a running mate to partner him ahead of the 2024 presidential election. And based on the assessment and the prevailing circumstances today, he settled on Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe from Ashanti region. So the chiefs and the people of Ashanti region are so much excited about the choice. They have known Napo in the politics of Ashanti region since 2008. As we all know, he's a 4-term member of parliament. And his achievement in parliament has been remarkable.
Great.
He's, in fact, one of the most effective MPs in our country.
All right. But what's your assessment of the public reaction of Dr. Prempe's speech?
He spoke well. He spoke about how he's going to assist the presidential candidate to deliver a first-round resounding victory in December. He also touted the work of the Akufo-Addo government, and in his opinion, the government of Akufo-Addo is the best in post-independent Ghanaian history. I believe strongly that indeed Akufo-Addo is the best president of our country. First of all, Akufo-Addo has invested more in education than any president since 1957. If you take TVET alone, Akufo-Addo has invested the 6.7 billion Ghana cedis in making TVET effective, the equivalent of some $500 million, and is the highest in our nation's history since 1957. It is not in doubt that Akufo-Addo has invested more in roads than any president in the history of our country, having worked on roads in excess of 11,000 kilometers. We all would agree that the biggest social intervention in our nation's history has happened under President Akufo-Addo, and he has spent the equivalent of over 15 billion Ghana cedis in implementing the free secondary education. And so if you look at the various sectors of our national development, you come to health. The biggest single investment in health infrastructure is happening under Akufo-Addo with the Agenda 111. So if one assesses the facts dispassionately, and mind you, Napo was very, very clear. He said in terms of development, in terms of investment in our nation's infrastructure and the overall well-being of our citizens, in his opinion, Akufo-Addo is the best since 1957.
And the party stands by this assertion?
Absolutely. We are very proud of our record. I have given you statistics, whether you're talking about health, whether you're talking about investment in education, whether you're talking about improvement in our road network. Our record is unparalleled. There's absolutely no doubt about that. It is up to critics of Napo to show that in terms of road investment, Nkrumah towers any president. That in terms of education, his record is unparalleled as far as the investment is concerned.
But Yusuf, I believe that, putting Nkrumah on the same scale with President Akufo-Addo is not just limited to roads. Nkrumah has built a lot of infrastructure. We can see the Akosombo Dam and other, the Tema Harbour, for instance. So if you are limiting the argument to roads,
No, I just made an example of these areas to buttress the point that no president has invested in these critical areas more than President Akufo-Addo. It's up to our opponents to show that on every facet of national life, there are presidents who have invested more resources in improving our living conditions than Akufo-Addo has done.
So what do you have to tell Ghanaians, not necessarily your opponent in the NDC, but if you look at social media, a lot of commentary there, people who are necessarily not NDC persons, but to Ghanaians who are raising these concerns?
Which concerns?
Regarding the speech given by Napo, comparing Kwame Nkrumah to...
No, he didn't. He said every president since 1957. So why the limitation to Nkrumah? President Mahama is part.
But he mentioned specifically, he mentioned specifically Kwame Nkrumah.
The statement should be taken as a whole and analyzed. He said every president since 1957.
But then he went ahead to say your Nkrumah.
I have said to you, for example, that Akufo-Addo has invested more in roads infrastructure than any president.
Great.
I have said to you that Akufo-Addo has invested more in education than any president. I have said to you that Akufo-Addo has invested more in health infrastructure than any president.
Great. That point has been made, Agba.
These assertions are not true.
All right. Hold on. Let me go to the Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NDC, Elikem. How is your camp reacting to the massive support, the crowd, that came out yesterday for Napo and the NPP? You should be shaking now. Elikem, kindly unmute so we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's Deputy National Organizer, not Youth Organizer.
Thank you for that correction.
Permit me to first and foremost commend Stan Dogbe for the classic work he does each time there has to be even a stage set for the flag bearer or our running mate. I'm sure you understand what I mean. And you see, while I listen to my brother, I laugh and I feel pity at the same time that a young person of his caliber would actually not be bold enough to say maybe what Napo said was a slip of tongue or was not needed and all of that. But suffice it to say that it is in their DNA. Do you know, are you surprised as a media person yourself? I'm sure you know of Kojo Youngson, who is in your multimedia. He granted an interview and made it known clearly before Napo's outdooring that he is going to be a car wreck. Every day there will be some story because he's a reckless commenter. And then let me also say that Captain Smart, another media person, just said that in 2016 and 2020, not until yesterday, he didn't know he voted for fools. Then Kweku Bako also on UTV today stated clearly that Napo's comments were very reckless, unwarranted, unguarded, and very childish. You see, to have listened to what Napo said at the very chaotic outdooring in the Ashanti region, the NDC is not perturbed. We are not moved anyway. My brother forgot to say that the NPP invested heavily in corruption. You see, the amount of money you have invested in a project is not what is used to measure your achievement, the impact of it. If you listen to him, he was saying that they have even the Agenda 111 is the greatest investment in the health sector by President Akufo-Addo. How many have you achieved so far? You cannot even boast of a single one that has been achieved. The same way you have dug a hole and spent $58 million in it, I'm sure he should be mentioning that as well too. So when he's mentioning Agenda 111, he should do that. But let me zoom into what Napo said yesterday. Napo has been very reckless for a very long time, and you in the media know. You recall the reckless comment he made about the diploma holders, that they didn't qualify, they didn't make their grades. You recall what he said about the Voltarians, that if their budget is put in for the sea defense, he would match people in Ashanti region to demonstrate. You recall also what he said about load shedding recently, that Ghanaians can go about to and prepare their own timetable. Then also, this is the same person, again taking a swipe at Nzimas, at the Westerners.
He mentioned the former, the first president. He did not say Nzimas. He said Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Let's limit it to that.
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah comes from somewhere. He is an Nzima. You can never take that away from him. Don't treat these matters with velvet gloves when you in the media know how dangerous such very reckless and unguarded commentary.
So when Muhammad takes on Akufo-Addo, he's taking on Achims.
Agbak, let's allow Elikan to make his point.
And I feel so pity that even with some of your regional executives from the Western region who were present there, you have a running mate who had the greatest opportunity after listening to the Otumfo tell him that, look, I've heard many rumors that you are arrogant. That is not how I brought you up. Go out there and then vindicate me. And then Napo lost on a golden opportunity to redeem himself. Then he only said that, look, even Kwame Nkrumah, who was he referring to? That was insulting. And I cannot tell for anything at all how infantile, how childish a running mate for a flag bearer could be in the commentary that was passed yesterday by none other than Napo, who I am told is supposed to be wise and a doctor.
All right, Elikem. So now the battle lines for the campaign have been drawn. How ready are you to meet the NPP on the battleground?
The NDC has been ever ready, and as you are very much aware, the future of Ghana now is female, and women have been called to the table to play a major role. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama settled on a very learned professor, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, whose track records remain unblemished, who we are all aware what they did to try to dent her image in the past, but they couldn't find an iota of dent on her. She's the same person we are presenting. And therefore, we have been ready and have been on the grounds doing what we have to do.
All right.
The only problem I see now, which I should be very happy for, is that the NPP is digging deeper. While Alhaji Bawumia remains a lying box on his own, they have carried another baggage. Like in the words of your own Kojo Youngson in your studios, he said that, look, Napo is a car wreck. And every day we would have to be listening to more damaging commentary that will be destroying, cutting off people who they need to actually bring together.
All right.
But it is not surprising. That is in the nature of the caliber of person they have settled on as a running mate.
Thank you, Elikem. We're grateful for your time. Akbar, let me give you 1 minute before I go to Professor Kobby Mensah to react. Just 1 minute. What's your reaction to what Elikem just said? Hello, Yusuf? We seem to be having some connection issues. Professor Mensah, let me come to you. Was it politically right for the NPP to have presented Napo
Hello?
to Otumfo?
Can you hear me?
Okay, thanks for having me. I think that firstly, you have to look at the context based on which that ceremony happened. And maybe if it was any individual, they probably might not have actually presented him to Otumfuo. But this is a candidate who has relationship with the palace, who has personal relationship with the king.
Okay.
And so I think that it probably will be the right thing that they have to actually present him to Otumfuo. So for me, I suppose, most of us would have done the same. If you look at the prominence of the palace and the position that the gentleman is actually occupying, I am sure that it would be, it would not be right for you to have presented him in Kumasi and not have actually presented him to Otumfuo, especially given that he is from the palace. So I suppose it was, traditionally right to do that.
Okay, as a political marketing strategist, what is your own assessment and interpretation of the comment made by Otumfuo?
I mean, this is an overload that majority of prominent people go for counsel. And given the situation or given the occasion, it would be appropriate for him to pass on that counsel to his, relative. I mean, clearly he had actually been taking part in raising the gentleman. And so it was appropriate for him to have given him the advice. And the advice borders on something that is occupying the public opinion. He said that, it is in the public domain, and I'm not sure how that particular tag came to being, that you are arrogant. Meanwhile, we didn't train you like that. And so go out there and prove the people wrong, so to speak, if I should paraphrase what he said. So I think that it was in the right direction.
And were the comment by Otumfuo an endorsement of the MPP's bid?
Now, when we talk about endorsement, we must actually look at the personality involved. Now, in branding, there are, 3 stages or 3 personalities in terms of celebrity, endorsement. Now, one is called hereditary celebrity. The other is called attributable celebrity. The other is called ascribed celebrity. Now, chiefs who have influence are actually, regarded as hereditary celebrities. And so, usually when such people speak, they carry weight, they carry implications. And even some of us lecturers, for example, if your students, happen to listen to you, they may take, certain cues from it. Remember Kukubako and Kwesi Pratt, for a very long time, people use what they say as basis for their debate in their own corners.
Okay.
When you meet people, they use that. So certainly the chief's, the king's, comment will be taken as an endorsement because of who he is. Not necessarily because he wanted to endorse, but because of the reaction of the community to people of that status.
All right, let me give you just 1 minute to tell us what you make of Napo's comment. Just 1 minute, sir.
I think that he didn't use the opportunity rightly. I think that it might not be his making because the handlers actually chose the wrong platform to outdoor him. Absolutely nobody would nobody would drag Nkrumah, a global icon, someone who had actually been selected as a personality of the century, and then you can speak about him in the manner that he did, in a very denigrating manner. I think that it was despicable. I would rather ask him to apologize so that in the history books, when it is mentioned that he did that to Nkrumah, it could also be mentioned that he apologized,
All right.
having notified.
Thank you.
Noticed it.
Thank you, gentlemen. We are grateful for your time. And now, moving on, in the last few hours, leading members of the CPP have been challenging the claims of the MPP's vice presidential candidate as they caution the energy minister to be mindful of his new status in society. Kwame Jantua is political affairs chairman of the Convention People's Party.
has he been named the Millennium Gentleman of the Century? Nado, does he have his statue at the OAU building? Nanado, does he have a mausoleum that shows who he really was and what he did for this country? Nanado, has he fought independence for Ghana before? Nanado, the factories that he said he's brought up, can any compare to Nkrumah's factories? You know, we had a nail factory, nails in Ghana, matches. Let's look at the factories that Nanado is said to have brought up. What are they? So how can you compare the two? How? From time immemorial, the loans that we took, does it amount to what Nanado has taken?
Now, this afternoon, 4 hopeful candidates have appeared before the New Patriotic Party's vetting committee for scrutiny ahead of the party's internal election for the Manhyia South parliamentary seat. 5 aspirants picked forms on Monday, but 1 failed to file at the end of the nomination on Tuesday. The 4 persons going into the by-election include Nana Prempeh, brother of the current MP and MPP running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. My colleague Nana Boachi Yadom joins us live from the Manhyia South constituency office of the NPP. Nana, what is happening so far?
Well, right now, Carlos, the NPP's elections committee here in the Manhyia South constituency have finally concluded the vetting process. And the balloting has also ended for prospective aspirants or people seeking to replace the Member of Parliament, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Not long ago, the vetting process ended with balloting also coming into an end. So 4 persons have been cleared by the vetting committee to contest for the Manhyia South parliamentary race, which is scheduled to take place on Sunday at the St. Louis Training College. The New Patriotic Party is putting measures in place to ensure that all those who are seeking to replace Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, I mean those who are contesting for the Manhyia South constituency seat, would not move out from the guidelines that the party is putting in place. So as I speak to you, they have cautioned all these 4 aspirants who are seeking to contest on the ticket of the MPP to be mindful of their utterances as they go out to campaign. And so not long ago, Carlos, the process came to an end with balloting also coming to an end. The first person on the ballot is the brother of the current Member of Parliament and Energy Minister and also MPP running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. His own brother, Nana Usefriye, is number 1 on the ballot with 3 others joining him on the ballot sheet come Sunday. And
what have they been telling you briefly?
So we have been interacting with some of these aspirants. What they tell us is that the party should ensure a free and fair election for the first.
Well, that's all we have time for here on Election Brief from your election headquarters here in Accra. You can log on to our website, myjoyonline.com, for more election-related stories. My name, as always, is Carlos Kaloni. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good afternoon.